Hey guys, and welcome to the Trading Channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to create a news-based trading strategy. So throughout the video today, I'll be showing you guys a free resource that I use in order to backtest news-based trading strategy, which if you've been a part of the channel for a while, do you know that that is something I have to have? All of the strategies that I use must be backtested before they're used in the markets. So I'll show you guys that free resource I use in order to be able to backtest these news-based trades, as well as share a couple of strategies that you can go through the market and test for yourself. Now, although these strategies will be based on the news, they will also be based on technical analysis. So it's very important that you understand support and resistance before trying to incorporate any of these strategies into your trading. Earlier this week, I did a video called Tips on Trading During News Events. If you've not seen that video yet, I'll put a link in the bottom left-hand side of your screen. You can click that, it'll open in a new window, and you can check that video out either before or after watching this one. We actually had a news-based trade in that video that I'll be talking more about today. So if you're interested in creating a strategy that's based both on news and technical analysis, then make sure to sit tight through the intro and disclaimer, and I'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Alright, so we're going to jump straight into it with the free resource that I was talking about. And this resource is something that a lot of you probably already know about or possibly already use, but I want to share it with as many traders as possible because I remember even after becoming a profitable trader, I tried to avoid the news altogether. And as I've grown as a trader and become more experienced, and as I've used this free resource to actually test news-based trading strategies, I've come to really enjoy incorporating news into my technical trades. And today that's what we're going to discuss, is how to incorporate news events into your either already tested technical strategies or how to create strategies based around those news events using technical analysis. So the resource I'm talking about is just the forexfactory.com. And I'm not associated with them in any way. This is just a great resource because of how far back the calendar can go. So as I said in the intro, I don't like to trade any strategy that I can't backtest, and that was a big reason why I didn't like trading during news events. Because at the time I had no idea there was a resource that would go back in time and show you news events from the past with an exact date and time that that news event came out, which allows you to be able to test technical strategies during these news events. Since we have the time and date of the news event here on forexfactory.com, as you can see, I'm back on September 7th, 2016 now. And the pair we're going to look at today is going to be the dollar Canada. So what we'll do is we'll go to the forexfactory.com, the free resource. We'll take a look at our red flag news event, which I decided to start out here on the Bank of Canada rate statement. So we had that event on Wednesday, September 7th at 9 o'clock a.m. If we go to our chart on Wednesday, September 7th, and we draw a vertical line at 9 o'clock a.m., that's our candle that the news event came out on. And I know that's a little hard to see because of how thick this line is. Let me make it a little smaller for you guys. So that little red candle is when the news event came out. And first, let's talk about a strategy that you can create based on this. The power of this is that you can see when the news event came out, and you don't necessarily have to make a decision at that exact time that the news event came out. For instance, this event came out at 9 o'clock, but the market did not fully react to this event until 10 o'clock. And that could have been for many different reasons, a delay in the actual announcement or a delay in the release of the actual news, but that's irrelevant considering we're going to be trading based on technical analysis during this news event. So if you wait to see what the market does after the news, then you can start to create a strategy based on that. So for instance, let's say we waited on this big bullish reaction here from the news event. Well, after that big bullish reaction, you could start to create a strategy based around periods of consolidation or flag patterns. So we see that we have a big bullish reaction from a news event. After we have that big bullish reaction, we can say, okay, now we're waiting for the breakout of a flag pattern. We draw in a flag pattern here, and there's our breakout. So in this instance, that would have been a successful strategy, or at least a successful trade. And that's one of the strategies that you can go through and test. Since having that free resource over at the Forex Factory, you can head over there and check out a news event, find a red flag news event, wait for the reaction from that news event. And by the way, guys, right now we're on a 15-minute chart. This is applicable on any time frame. You can wait on that reaction from the news event, and then after that wait for a period of consolidation and a breakout. That would be one example of a strategy you could use incorporating news and technical analysis. Another more popular strategy that I've actually saw used more often is to put a buy and sell stop order. And if you don't know what that is, pretty much a buy stop order is going to buy you in above a resistance level or above where price action is, and a sell stop order will sell you into the market below where price action is. So for instance, let's say this is a candle here and you have a sell stop order right here. It acts as a limit order for when the market hits it, even though it's below price action. So as soon as the market hit it, as soon as a candle touched that sell stop order, you would be filled short, and then you could decide where to put a stop loss, or maybe you already had a swing high over here somewhere and you have your stop loss set in, just as with a limit order. So having that knowledge and knowing that there's a big news event coming out before the news event, let's say 30 minutes to an hour before the news event, you could take and put a sell stop order 5 to 10 pips below the most previous support level, which would be right in there would be your sell stop order. And you can put what's called a buy stop order right above 5 to 10 pips above the highest resistance level. And with that being the case, you can see that if I put a long position tool here and you put your stop loss under the swing low, again, you could have easily hit targets on this specific trade as well. And so let's go through the market and just test a few trades using this strategy here, putting our sell stop and buy stop orders above the highest resistance and below the lowest support by 5 pips here on a 15-minute chart. And if you do go up time frames, you may need to adjust this. You just have to test it. And this calendar actually goes back pretty far. I've taken this thing back all the way to 2014, so you should have plenty of data on the calendar at least to test on higher time frames. So let's check out our next red flag event for the Canada or the dollar. Here we are on September 8th, 2016, and unemployment claims come out for the dollar at 7:30 a.m. So let's check that out on the chart. 7:30 a.m. on September 8th. So right in here is our 7:30 candle, and if we look back for our most previous resistance level, you can use one of two resistance levels. I like to use the most previous, and that is this one here for me. So with that being the case, my entry would look something like this, be a few pips above that resistance level, and also my sell stop would be below the most previous support level. So as you can see, the market never did come down to hit that sell stop order. Instead, we were bought into the market with a buy stop order just above our previous resistance, and this trade obviously went on to hit targets as well. Now we'll continue doing this for a couple more trades just to give you guys an idea of how I would actually backtest a news-based strategy. So here we are on Friday, September 9th, and we have unemployment rate for Canada at 7:30 the very next day, and 7:30 is going to be right here. And again, guys, I like using the most previous support and the most previous resistance level for my orders. So my sell and buy stop orders would look something like this. A few pips under that for the sell stop, which as you can tell never got touched, and a few pips above that for my buy stop. And again, guys, here we have another winning trade based on that strategy. We'll take a look at one more. So looking for another red flag news event for either Canada or the dollar. And that brings us all the way to the 14th of September. And we have crude oil inventories for the dollar at 9:30 a.m. So let's check out 9:30 on the 14th of September. Bring our horizontal line with us. And here we are at 9:30 a.m. My buy stop would be 10 pips or so above here, 5 to 10 pips above that, and my most previous support level is right in here. So that's what the sell stop would look like. And in this case, guys, if that amount of time goes by, 9:30 until 1:30, that's way too many hours have gone by without the market reacting. So these red flag news events are supposed to be the most volatile news events for the market. And if there's no volatility when the event comes out, if this many hours go by, then I cancel both orders. So this would not have necessarily been a loss. I just would have canceled the order after an hour or two of the market consolidating instead of creating a new trend or continuing in the trend it's already in. Alright guys, so that's an example of a news-based trading strategy and how you would use the forexfactory.com in order to incorporate the news with a technical strategy. And don't let your imagination be limited by what I've just shown you. There are a multitude of ways to create a trading strategy based around those news events. As I was showing you earlier, you can wait until after the reaction and then trade some kind of flag pattern or consolidation pattern. You can trade before the news event. So right before the news event comes out, you could say if we get a large red or green candle before the news event, then that's the direction I trade. You can trade solely based on the trend. If we're in an uptrend and there's a news event that comes out, then I trade with the trend. So as I said, there's a large variety of ways you could trade during a news event. But for now, let's move on to the euro pound trade that we took a look at in my previous video, tips for trading during the news. And again, I'll post a link for that video in the left corner of your screen. If you haven't had a chance to watch that yet, then head over there and check it out. But if we head to the euro pound, and the reason I would like to share this with you guys is because this was an example of a technical strategy that I already use combined with the news that caused a very nice trade. So if we head back out to the hourly chart, which is where this position was taken. So this trade was actually taken right up here using an entry reason that I teach over at the EAP. And so this is what I was talking about when I said combining the news with a strategy or strategies that you already use. So previously in my trading, I, as I've said, would try to avoid news events altogether. And at this point in my trading, after a lot more experience and knowledge of the market, I actually look forward to news events, and because oftentimes the news event will push the market in the direction your technical analysis or your strategy is telling you the market should go. And that's exactly what we had happen here on the euro pound. We entered this trade, as I said, based on an entry reason taught over at the EAP, and this trade was also entered on the day of the euro interest rate decision. And as you can see, this market has pushed down quite a bit since then. We've already hit first and second targets. This last part of my position that you see is still on the screen. It's just an extra position that I like to let run and see how far it will go. So for our second targets on this trade, we actually hit about 200 pips. And so to sum that up, guys, what you can do is take a look back at a free resource like the forexfactory.com and check for news events that happen just after or during a point where your technical analysis or your strategy happens. So if you have a certain strategy, let's say you trade every time the market puts in a double top or a double bottom. Well, once we put in that double top or double bottom, you can check the news and see if after that was there a big news event that pushed the market in that direction. And if there was, then you can continue to test that, and you can use that as a strategy. Right before a big news event, I always trade double tops or double bottoms if they happen on a pair that's correlated with that news event. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for creating strategies based around news events using technical analysis. I hope this video was educational for you. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, then make sure to click that like button for me. If you're new to this channel, then go ahead and subscribe to be alerted when I come out with new free educational content just like this. And if you'd like to learn more about the entry reason I used for this trade and more about the kind of analysis that I do on a daily basis, then I have a really nice promotion running on the EAP. There are only limited spots available, but for now you can get in the EAP for 5 days for only $1. So you get a 5-day trial for $1, or you can get the 3-month option, the quarterly option in the EAP for only $85, which brings the price of that down below $30 a month for that subscription. And if you'd like to learn more about what all you get with the EAP, and if you're interested in investing in yourself and learning some new strategies, then click the link below this video labeled EAP promo. I wish you guys the best of luck in your trading, and I'll talk to you next time.